It's all good, don't you know? Ooh, it's all good, baby. Hi, I just wanted to get on here and talk a minute about feminine energy. Talk about why we are not having our spirits fed right now. And I mean men, women, all of us. Why aren't we having our needs fulfilled? You know, when we talk about mama drama trauma, we're talking about how this empath, this person who feels the feelings of others as if they are our own, has had this traumatic experience as a result of not receiving the maternal presence, protection, or provision of care that we need. And empaths need a lot. And so when we talk about femininity, we're talking about that energy of that internal space, of that feeling, of that knowingness, that intuitive space. Our needs are not being fulfilled, and we don't feel that our spirits are being fed as a result, because everything is masculine oriented. You know, what you do. What are you going to do today? What are your goals? What are your, what are you going to have, possess? This material orientation that is so out of balance that as females, we feel that if we can achieve these things as women, that's feminine. And that's not it. The feminine energy is the energy that is within ourselves, and particularly as women, when we're talking about the material mother and our maternal experience and how we're healing that and what our needs are in order to do that, we're talking about the need to just be, just feel, just exist as we are. We have a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, a lot of experience that is enough for us to deal with. And just being ourselves in that nameless, unspoken space. Well, it took me a minute to just even connect with it, to continue. That's what we need to be connected with. That is the aspiration we're missing. We're missing being who we are in relationship to the substance, the essence of our existence. So I just wanted to share that, because as we hunger and as we chase and as we desire this fulfillment and a word from someone and a this and a that, and to feel me, and this external need for validation, this infant grasping, this grasping, it's really from within ourselves that we have not connected with who we are. And who we are souls that have lifetimes of experience. We have lifetimes of experience. We are souls that came here to heal the suffering of the world. But in order to do that, we have to heal our own. And no one can do that for us as old souls. Empaths are old souls. That's why we share the common characteristics of feeling others' feelings as if they are our own, wanting to share and to give others. You know, we share these common characteristics because that's what we came here to do. But we have not been taught that we have to do that for ourselves first. Of course, boundaries with others is a part of that. But the challenge with us is that we don't realize that, just like the sanctuary, it's not so much, again, about the masculine defense, the battle, the borders, the moat around the castle. It's not about that material focus. That's why it's so difficult for us, because we are more internal. The internal focus of that sanctuary is not so much always about keeping things out, but it is what we are retaining within. What are we retaining from these lifetimes? What memories? What experiences? What unresolved traumas are we cycling? That's what we have to get in touch with. That's the level of spiritual food and nurturing that we need. And that is why we have mama drama trauma. When I say it's a karma, it's not because we're bad. I know that's the connotation that we're familiar with in the Western world. But if you study the etymology of the word from Sanskrit, it just means actions. We've just had these repetitive actions that are producing this result, which in our present pending karmic state, we have not resolved this karma of neglecting our own maternal needs, that feminine connection of personal presence with ourselves, of personal provision of care of ourselves, of personal protection of ourselves. And so we have to do that to heal. And we can put it off and we can project it onto other mothers. There are 6 mother wound types. And I'll link the podcast below here so that you can hear how this mother wound is pervasive. You have divine mother wound, great mother wound, birth mother wound, earth mother wound, other mother wounds, our surrogate mothers, motherland wound. And we are in a huge wounding planetarily with the motherland. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. Okay? Everybody running, trying to find. There's everybody, and that's what Great Mother's message was in the last upload in the reading, when she came to us and she was telling us the root of what we need to know about what's going on in the world today is that this wounding has shaped our entire perspective of each other and how we interact with each other. And so I wanted to just come on and say that the feminine part of ourselves is where we need to be fed and where we ourselves have the capacity, even more than most, to do that. And it's time that we do. And I know many of us are doing that inner work. And I thank you so much for joining us here. And share with us, how is the inner work that you're doing with your mother wound advancing the nourishment that you're receiving in these challenging times, so that maybe that can encourage others who are really trying to find their way and to understand these things. What are some things that you're doing? I know that for me, the Mama Drama Trauma Healing Oracle deck is very, very useful, because it just, with as much overthinking as I do, I just pull a card or I'll just do a spread and it's just right there. It's really clear to me. I know that just the lessons that I've learned through that, in terms of just controlling my conditioning and what that control is, what that control mechanism is. How do we and why do we control our conditioning? Because our conditioning is of shame, blame, and guilt. So I want to leave you with All of the external things are not feeding us because they're just propagating shame, blame, and guilt about what we're not doing right, about what we haven't accomplished, about what we don't have, about the mistakes that we've had. And it's just perpetuating that maternal trauma within us, not having that care. And I want to leave you with, as dearly loved divine children of the great Mother, Father, God, who were never judged, condemned, or left alone, we possess the capacity to have more curiosity about ourselves and to grieve that shame, blame, and guilt, release that as a control. That's the foundational teaching of the deck, is that we are grieving, we are releasing that shame, blame, and guilt in order to accept the mother that we have, which is our intuition. And that's what keeps us getting up in the morning every day, despite all of our challenges, is that deep within ourselves, we know that we're here for a reason. And that reason is to divinely heal, to soul align with our desire to heal the suffering of the world by first healing it within ourselves. I hope that's helpful, and that I hear from you about helpful things that you've done to align with your soul in these times.